All right, audio is unmuted, and you are good to go.
Hi, welcome. Sorry about the delay there. Had some technical issues on our end, but welcome to round two of Tier 3. We're at France, and we've got some interesting weather for you guys. So we're going to have a wet to dry quali session and rain in the middle of the race. So dry, wet, dry in the race. Gore is filling in for Borat today. Thanks for stepping on short notice.
Yeah, happy to be here. Also, quick side note, for some reason, if you're the host and you are spectating, everybody is on softs for their first run in quali. These guys are on inters, whatever the detail of fitted tire says. So everybody's on inters, not actually softs.
Yeah, they are. Our interest skinny man is not on softs, but yeah, I think since it is drying up later in the session, I think everyone's just gonna hang out in the pits for a while
Yeah,
and
for
wait for it to
sure.
dry up.
Yeah, I mean, whatever time you set now, I mean, you can get some practice laps, but realistically, you're not going to be able to compete with it as soon as the track dries. But extra laps are extra laps, I suppose. Getting a little bit of practice for later in the race. We have some rain coming. Tact, if you want to go over the weather schedule.
Yeah, so dry towards the end of the quali and starting from light cloud in the race to some light rain in the middle before it gets cloudy once again. So some interesting strategies as well are gonna play out. We'll see if anyone qualifies on mediums or sticking to a. It will be at least a two stop, obviously, to get onto the wets and back onto the dries. So we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see what they do. But yeah, oh, certainly. And Astro there, I think I am okay, he's in turn 12, so I don't think anybody started their lap. Oh, no, Skinny Man just started his lap.
Skinny Man is the first one to start his hot lap. Yep.
So all right on board with him. Yeah, I can imagine. I don't think I've ever done France wet, but it's very crucial to be nice and easy through turn one. Obviously, it's pretty tough even when it's in the dry. So, gonna make sure you're nice and easy on the throttle and not demanding too much from the tires too early into the apex. But yeah, this seems like a very tricky track to drive in the wet.
Yeah, I definitely lost some of those long sweeping corners. Have to get the power down very slowly, especially when it's these conditions.
Yeah, for sure. I know. Um, Definitely an issue even in the dry sometimes on worn tires. So Skinny Man now coming into what I believe is turn 8. Yes, the little thing on the side. Then turn 9. I'm curious to see if how much of the corner, like how much of the curb he takes. He takes none of the curb. So surprising. He's thinking it's more stable to avoid the curb, and in the wet that very well might be true. So I will go off his judgment. This has got to be really tough to make sure you lift enough, and it looks like he played it nice and safe, and I don't think we got any issues coming down into turn 11. Looks like he's got a good handle on the car. Comes back. It really looks like the softs are misleading, but he looks like he has really good control of the car. Looks like he's driving in the dry. For the most part, looks like he's doing a great job. Able to keep the car under control now down through turn whatever that is. I have no idea. Missed the board. This is turn 14. I know that. And he'll come into the last one. Goes a bit deep into this one, and he's going to find himself again probably going deep into turn 15 is what normally happens. But he's able to keep it under control, get the power down, and he's going to come across the line here, and we'll see what kind of time he's setting in the wet. And it looks like it'll be a 1:45.8. I have no idea if that's competitive or if it'll get beaten, but it looked like a clean lap. As Astro now coming through the final two corners as well. We'll see what time he can set.
And a lot of drivers actually running out of ERS very early in the lap. Astro 2/10 faster. Behind him is Bash Dash's teammate. We'll see what kind of time he can set here.
Yes,
He sets a 1:49.4, so about 4 seconds off the pace. He'll be looking to improve on that time. Intox, I think, invalidated his lap. He's going to be coming to the pits. Trash Pan, the next one across the line, is in mode 1 through the corner, so yeah, saving his ERS. He's got enough for the straight here. And he actually also
I think he must have
actually set a
invalidated.
1:59. He must be starting another one here.
Yeah, doesn't look like it showed up, so I think he invalidated that one. But yeah, as you said, saving the ERS, so maybe he knew it was invalidated and now he's trying to use it. But these guys are much braver than I am, running it up in fifth through these corners, and Rich Mix presumably would be quite dangerous. But these guys look like they have quite a handle on it.
Syntactis, 48.2. Behind him, Peach with a 40. Okay, lots of drivers setting their times here now. Action now. First one to break the 44s He's your provisional pole sitter. Third place in the last Grand Prix in Australia. We'll see how he manages to perform today. Rosefest just
Yeah,
3
with a
tenths behind him with a 44.5.
Yeah. So we'll see what if Rosefest, maybe he's not too strong in the wet. We will see. And what's Skinny Man going into the pits there? Also, I don't remember. Where did the Peach qualify last week in Australia? Because he said a 146.0, not bad. Not bad.
He I think was the driver who got impeded on his softs run. So his fastest time was on the mediums actually in Australia. So
Right. Yeah.
he had an unfortunate qualifying.
Yeah, and it'll be interesting to see just how, if this grid stays this similar, rather, when we go to dry conditions. I'd be very curious
Yeah.
to see if that's the case.
And as you can notice, it actually stopped raining already. So
Yeah, I mean, they might even be. If I were them, I would have, maybe given another minute or so, then go out on. You've got extra sets of softs.
yeah.
So I'd go out, try to get a run on the softs with like 10 minutes, then wait till the optimal time, like 2-3 minutes, and then go out then one more time. But we'll see what these guys choose to do. As of now, everybody on the inters and a few people on their out laps on the inters as well.
Yeah, I think we'll have a little bit of a waiting game now. It'll be interesting to see actually the end of quali, because since the track is drying up, the last person to set a time will have a huge advantage compared to, a lap set 1 or 2 minutes ago.
Absolutely. Yeah, and
We might see some
unfortunately,
traffic.
I have no idea. Rosefest goes fastest with a 143.8, so a flying lap
Yeah.
from him. Great job from him. And one thing I am curious about, and I do not know the answer to this, is Bash Dash in the pits switch to the soft tires. In normal qualifying, it does not matter how many cars are on the track. Track evolution, like how, in quotes, rubbered in the track is purely based off time. And I have no idea if that is the case with the water, or if the amount of cars, if the amount of laps that have taken place on the track actually impact that, or if it's just completely time related. And if it's completely time related, as you said, yeah, the people that set their lap with 5 seconds left to go are going to be leagues ahead of those who were at 3 minutes.
Yeah.
Itchy Soup on the mediums, it looks like. Again, they haven't left the pits, so it's hard to tell. DRS is already enabled. So yeah,
There you
if
go.
I would get out on those softs immediately and try to set a lap now, and then try again, later in the session.
Yeah, I think anyone on the hot lap or on intermediate is just wasting their time. Need to come into the pits now, and maybe they'll have at least 2 runs on soft tires. We'll see if they can get 3. Probably not 3 actually. I think it's gonna be 2 for most people.
Yeah. So as you said, yeah, anybody on an out lap or on a flying lap right now is in their best interest to just come in the pits and try to get 2 laps on the softs. Because as you mentioned, the soft should be fine to start on, because we've got the rain, and it's looking like they'll be able to just go from softs directly onto inters. Or are you thinking maybe they'll have to pit before the inter period comes?
Yeah, well, that's the question. We don't know exactly when the rain will come in the race. The softs in France, they do tend to fall off a cliff at some point, so it's hard to predict if the mediums are the right strategy, or just banking on the softs.
And so Skinny Man, who was on an out lap, is just about to cross the line to start a flying lap on the inter, so we'll see how much faster his time is. I would hazard a guess that it will be even worse, because his inters are going to be overheated by the end of it.
Yeah, it's massively understeering through these corners.
Interesting, though, really to me, is that we've got so many people going for the mediums. So either they don't want to waste the softs because they think they'll, since they've got the wet and you don't need to use the 2 different compounds, they're thinking they'll go soft, inter, wet, soft. So maybe they want to save the 2 fresh sets, but it seems like it would be wiser to me to get track position, especially in the rain, or if there's a safety car, when the pit stops get all bunched up because of the rain and everybody's going in at the same time. You really want to be at the front of that queue.
Rosefest up ahead. Switch to the mediums in his pits. as we have our first soft tire qualifying run about to start from Bash Dash. We'll see how much he improves in turn 1, see if it's obvious. Takes a kind of a shallow line through there, could have used a lot more track on the entry, but yeah, I can see how much earlier he can get on the power, much more traction he has compared to the inters. Yeah, still a little bit sloppy, but as the track improves, the line will get better. Yeah, he's already 3.5 seconds faster in one sector, so definitely look for a huge improvement
And not to
from
mention,
all these drivers.
yeah, also the DRS is going to be pretty huge too. I mean, that's a free 8/10 right there.
Oh yeah, that's a very good point, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. But I'm thinking the top three are going to be looking pretty similar, just judging by their performances in Australia. Of course, that being said, the Peach, my man, could come up into the top three, even get pole position here, because who knows what would have happened in Australia. Again, looked like he had some pace, but some unfortunate incidents found him, and so we have one person, Quirk50, who is just now getting into the pits on his inters. I don't think he's going to have time for 2 laps. So sorry,
No.
going back to Bash Dash here as he's coming to the final 2 corners of 14 and 15 here. Kind of straddling the outside there a little bit, but it looks like he had enough turn in there. Good job from him, but he runs a bit wide. This is such a tricky corner to be able to hit the apex right, and it basically just entirely relies on the corner before, and he does go miles faster, as you mentioned, even throughout the first sector with a 1:35.9. So nobody on those inters even close. He's about 9 seconds clear. And then we've got Action here, who we can ride on board with, as he's going to be, or actually is Astro. Astro is coming into the third sector on those mediums. I'd love to see where he's at if he can get himself in front of Bash Dash on those mediums. I think he'd be pretty happy because Bash Dash's time looks like a pretty competitive time. That being said, the track is only going to dry out more and more, so we'll just have to see. But Astro running out of energy before
I think he
turn
actually
14.
invalidated his lap, according to my minimap at least.
Okay. Not for
But we'll
mine,
see
so I'll
if
be,
he,
yeah.
yeah, we'll see if he completes a valid lap here. Still pushing very hard.
No, you were
And
right.
yeah, you can see that he went 11 seconds faster, but not a valid lap, so he'll have to go again.
And I would assume.
Interesting. I'm surprised he actually completed that lap on mode 5. I would have just saved it a little bit.
Trout
Yeah,
just
Trout.
went, yeah. That was a
Super
good
lap
lap.
from him on the mediums.
Yeah,
Trash Panda getting up there.
Rosefest on the mediums as well, so we'll see what he's doing into turn 3. Yeah, turn 3 and 4 now. Able to keep a nice tight line in it. You really want to run out a bit wider than he does, because in turn you have to get off the power on the exit of that corner. It looks like he does a
Action
good job.
runs a very fast lap on
Oh,
the
wow.
soft, starting her up 31.6.
Yeah,
That's
an
2
impressive
seconds
lap.
faster than Trout on the mediums. I think, again, we'll see even faster times than that as the track
Absolutely.
quickly dries up.
And then we'll see. Yeah, we've got what's his face, Rosefest. Sorry, coming into this chicane. I do want to see, because we rode on board with him in his wet lap, and I do want to see what kind of curb he takes. Still kind of avoiding the curb, so it looks like these guys aren't quite comfortable getting their cars up on that curb on the exit of that chicane. There's a lot of time to be found there, but there's also a lot of wheel spin to be found there. So playing it safe. And so now coming into turn 11, the long sweeping corner, it looks like he runs a bit wide in the middle phase, and that compromises his exit just a little bit, but able to keep control of it. Looks like he has a lot of grip in those tires, more than I would be expecting from the mediums. He looks like he has a great handle on it. Comes through turn 13 there, riding the outside curb. Now turn 14, you want to take a really tight line, which he opts to go for a bit more of a deep line, and then corrects it back on the outside. Turns in nice and early for this one, but then he's going to get out on the curb to accelerate. Yeah, and he gets a little bit of oversteer there, whether it's from the 1:32.5 on the medium, so a phenomenal lap from him. A second clear of Itchy Soup's time on the mediums, but still just about a second shy, 9/10 shy of Action's time on the softs, which is right around where you'd expect from the mediums. But so we might be in for a good fight between these two today.
Yeah, and Quirk's actually still struggling on intermediates right now. I don't know if that was a mistake or if he still thinks the track is wet, but
No, I think you have it on best lap rather than fitted. Might be what it is, because for me it's showing him on softs out lap.
I see him like visually. He's wearing wearing intermediates, and he's really struggling through these corners. So
F1 2019 for you, ladies and gentlemen.
yeah, he's still starting. He's starting another hot lap on intermediates.
Interesting. Well, yeah, the track looks pretty dry to me, but he's also on softs for me, so I have no idea. We will, let's check in with some of the midfield runners. We've got Bacon Sushi just able to go 10th fastest with a 136.8. Behind him, Atmosphere with a 137.1 on softs. Syntax with a 137.4. So looks like the top, actually, yeah, or sorry, the 10th to 12th are fairly close, but those medium runners really really mixed in there. And we've got the top four, 3 of the top 4 are on the medium tires. I'd be super I guess curious. I really want to see if they decide to go out on softs to try to get pole position, or if they're happy to be starting on those mediums if they think maybe the softs can't make it to the rain. They don't want to chance it. And in fairness, if Action has to pit, that's going to be really tough to come back from if he has to make an extra pit stop. Intox going 3rd fastest on softs.
Yeah, I think anyone not on a hot lap right now or an out lap right now is not going to set another time. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see like how much of a mistake that is from all like the top 8 have all gone out a little too early.
Yeah,
Bob
and
Ross is
yeah.
I think saving his ERS for another run on the mediums.
I do have to say, I think the mediums are the play if you've got the pace, because even if you can make it to the end or make it to the rain on those softs, at that changeover period, you're going to be much more comfortable on slightly worn mediums versus very worn softs. So I do think the mediums, obviously, in most scenarios, are the right call if you've got the pace for them, but I think here, especially with the rain the way it is.
Yeah, Bacon Sushi, one of the medium runners. About to finish his hot lap. He's gonna improve by half a second. It's not gonna be enough to gain him a place though. He's about 400s
And
behind
so
Atmosphere.
I think the last of the front runners who's on a lap right now is going to be the Peach on softs. I believe his previous lap was on medium, so we'll see where he can put himself up into. Rosefest is going out for an out lap with 25 seconds. That is a bold move from a bold man. Peach also not taking the curb. Looks like he actually got some oversteer there, which prevented him from doing it even if he had wanted to, using all of the track here as he comes in turn this one where George Russell spanked one of the polystyrene boards, but he goes through there a little bit tighter, not using all the track there, which is a little bit slower, but not much, obviously, just small optimizations. But he looks like he gets a bit deep through the, I guess you'd call it the secondary apex of that corner, but other than that, keeping it nice and clean. I struggle with this turn so much. He went through that really nice and clean, as qualifying has officially ended. Anybody who has not crossed the line will not be able to finish their laps. As we've got the Peach now coming through the final corner. Looks like he did a good job there, able to control the oversteer on exit, but doesn't look like he's a fan of gear shifting, or that's an audio bug. Goes 4th fastest with a 133.2, but crucially setting 2 laps on those soft tires. So any issues that Action is going to be having up there at the front, Peach is going to be having a little bit more.
Yeah, Bash Dash improves by 1.1. That's
P9.
P9.
And Skinny loses it into the wall there. Hard to find a wall on France, but he managed to do it. Probably one of the only spots where it's possible, so that's unfortunate for him. You hate to see it. Unable to set his lap. Hopefully he'll just retire. And of course Quirk now coming into the pits. Hopefully he will retire as well, and we can get this race underway. So Tact, we've got let's go to best lap. So we've got Action on pole position with a 131.6. Rose about 9/10 behind him on the mediums. Who do you think is in the better position now?
It's got to be Rosefest. I mean, even discounting the tire situation, you're gonna have a lot more confidence as you're trailing behind a car, and they're gonna be they're gonna be your slipstream. They're gonna be your tow through these long straights in France. And if you maintain that gap, if you maintain DRS until the rain comes, you're gonna be in a very good spot.
Yeah.
And again, obviously the soft to medium situation, I think. Again, we can't know for sure with the weather, but mediums are definitely a safer bet when it comes to making them last until the rain starts. He's got, the next person in mediums is Itchy Subas in 5th. As long as the Rosefest doesn't, lose lots of positions off the start, because obviously the softs will be faster, I think he's gonna be in a good spot for the race.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that, especially as you said around France. If you can stay in that DRS, the tires don't really matter that much. You're just kind of getting pulled along. We saw it in, I think it was Tier 2 France when we had like 3 guys. I think 2 of them were on different tires, and they were all, within a second of each other, and it's fairly hard to pass here, but yeah, so looks like we've got an interesting top 10, a nice mix of soft and mediums. The real question, will the softs be able to make it to the rain? And if not, I think everybody on softs Really, I mean, it's hard to come back from a 20-second loss like that.
Yeah, it is an ERS juicer of a track. Definitely sucks it out a lot on the straights. Really hard to manage the ERS. So I think that'll be a huge factor as well in terms of race pace for people.
Yeah, and of course, as I mentioned too, I mean, not only if they can make it to the rain, but just how much faster those mediums are going to be during that changeover period or just before it. Whilst the track is getting wet and the tire wear is basically just exacerbated incredibly quickly. I think those mediums might even be able to make up for where they qualied, just by being able to put in an extra lap or two without having to pit onto the inters. Of course, most of these guys are very new, and so judging when to going onto the inters or not is difficult even for those of us in Tier 1, and some of us feel we need to reverse into the pit lane, but,
Yeah, everyone's choosing their strategy, choosing their fuel mix, and we are no formation lap,
Oh.
and we're underway.
Into the first corner, looks like Rosefest is actually going to get in front of Intox.
Oh no, lots of people did not expect that to happen.
Oh boy, that was unfortunate. The Peach up into fourth position there. Itchy Soup right on his tail, and then quite a big gap backwards. Looks like Bash Dash.
I think I'm gonna make the call to restart the lobby because this is a little unfair for those people in the middle. If you can go ahead and make that happen, I'm gonna go let everybody know.
All right, welcome back, everybody. We are going to be starting the lobby this time with a formation lap because the host has, I mean, the host is normally so talented, but apparently, struggled with that today. Probably
Yeah, a bit
just
of
because he was
technical
busy.
issues today for us.
Yeah,
But
busy being too cool. Anyways,
hoping we'll get this started. I'm going to just make sure that everyone's starting on the same tires they actually qualified on in the
I
top
think
10.
the only issue with this is that those soft runners might get an advantage of being able to make it
Yeah.
to the rain. But it's also very possible that they'll miss the window by like 4 laps anyways, in which case we won't have an issue. But looks like
Yeah.
these guys ready up really fast. I'm sure at least half of them forgot their setup.
I really hope. I mean, I pinged all of them to let their setup. I hope they did.
Maybe I was getting the timer a bit early because now it looks like they're. I'm just getting the waiting for players instead of the actual formation lap.
Yeah,
so-
timer started now.
Okay, yeah, there it is. All right, so that seems more reasonable. So hopefully these guys get their setups, get the right tires on, and yeah, we'll see what's happened. But it looked like, at least for Rosefest, obviously, who knows what was happening vis-a-vis not knowing the formation lap was off, allowed him to get a better start, but he seemed prepared and took the lead. But we will obviously that didn't count, so we will see what
Okay, so
happens here.
5 out of the top 10 should be on mediums. If they are not, I will be annoyed. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So someone started on mediums that weren't supposed to, and that would be my boy Willie Z.
Oh.
Ay ay ay. So naughty for him. He's gonna
That's-
get a drive-through penalty or equivalent of that. Is gonna be. He's gonna
Oh,
have a
and he
25
just
second
hit
time
Trash
penalty.
Panda down in 7th. Yeah, and they're both
And
tied
yeah,
back to the
he
grid.
just.
He took
he's
out
on-
Astro as well, so that should be another penalty. That's
Oh, boy.
unfortunate. That is apparently and was Action always in the Renault? I feel like he wasn't.
Okay, yeah. So
So
I think maybe people forgot to choose their car at the beginning, but
yeah, that's something. But yeah, so obviously a little bit, well, not a little bit, pretty huge advantage for those soft runners if they're able to make it that much longer. Judging by the clouds, though, I don't feel so bad because I think we're looking at 7 or 8 laps pretty substantially without any rain. But again, obviously could be mistaken. Yeah, Itchy Soup Trout, Willie Z is on the grid with his illegal tires. And then we've got Trash Panda also got sent back because of Willie. So that was an unfortunate start to the formation lap for those guys. So Action going to be trying to defend his lead for all it's worth. Really getting ahead on the formation lap there. Hopefully he slows down at the end, otherwise his tires are going to be very cold. Well, not very cold, but in reference, of course, Rose starting on the mediums, now backing up the rest of them while Action just drives off into the distance to the grid. But he does look like he's slowing down now, so we'll see. But yeah, so Action gonna try to get off the line. Intox is gonna try to get Rosefest off the line, of course, and Action is gonna be really hoping that happens. If he can put a car in between him and Rose, the better. The more cars he can put in general. And we'll just have to see what happens. But yeah, Action is gonna be on the grid for about 5-10 extra seconds than Rose, and that's a pretty huge advantage. So we will see. We'll see what that impacts. So Tact, I will let you go from here.
yeah, last cars lining up on the grid. I think the at least the grid order seems to be right. We hadn't had that glitch in Brazil where the order was wrong. We know we said it right, but iced in coming across or coming up to the last grid, and we have 5 red lights.
Or not. There
And
we
away
go.
we go. I think Rosefest gets a decent start actually.
Oh, one of the Red Bulls all the way off to the left. It looks like Bob Ross, but into turn 1, it looks like Action has got the inside line, and he's going to be good. Let's see what Intox can do.
Yeah, I think all is pretty clear.
We've got the Peach
Willie-
running a bit wide.
oh,
One of
Willie
the
goes
that's
very
one of
wide.
the that's Bash Dash spinning. Oh no, sorry, that's Astro spinning down into last position with Bob Ross there on Ice Tin. Looks like he was able to stay out of it going into the turn 4, I believe it is. Bash Dash and Willie Z side by side. Bash Dash going to go off track, and Willie Z's going to slam into him there. And oh, they almost hit again on the inside there as we go down the long back straight. Looks like Rosefest just able to creep up in front of the Peach again. Not sure how or where he lost that position to Intox, but Intox already 1.7 seconds behind Action, who is clear and off in the lead. So Rose going to be looking to get that position back as quick as possible. And of course, Peach Vice versa. Willie Z able to get past Bash Dash. Bash Dash goes right into the back of him and almost loses a bit of his wing there. Skinny Man now going to be looking for it as Willie Z goes super off the track here. We've got Skinny Man on the back of Bash Dash, but I don't think he's going to be able to do anything.
Yeah, Rosefest losing a spot there. Not what he wanted, but again, those medium tires, he just needs to stay within Intox here. He will have the pace in a few laps to be faster. My gaps are broken, as are yours, so I'm trying just to scroll through the action here.
Yep.
No pun intended. As Astro and Atmosphere going very, very close to each other. Astro driving up the inside, goes wide into the next corner though, but I think that's going to be a job done for him. He has his telemetry off, so I can't tell what damage he got from his incident. As Quirk goes very wide. Quirk, wow, almost goes backwards on track because that's how wide he went.
Comes back onto the track and almost hits Atmosphere there, but
yeah.
Looks like we've got now on the run into turn 1. I think the gaps are accurate now. Nope.
No, not quite.
Oh, as Peach down the inside of Rosefest, what a move into turn 3. That was an absolute beautiful move, super late, and he was able to get it. So Action's got to be very happy right now to have 2 cars between him and Rosefest, and Rosefest is really the only one who was threatening him on the Contra strategy rather than on track. So Peach now trying to make his way to Intox, and Intox, yeah, is a far way off Action, but I don't think it's 1.6 seconds.
I think it might be 1.6 seconds, and this is crucial because DRS is super powerful in France. Action is very, very happy about the gap he's built behind him. He needs to just nurse his tires a little bit.
And we've got Rosefest now getting a much better exit out of the chicane coming onto the back of Pete. On the back of Peach on his gearbox, but it doesn't look like he's going to be close enough to go for a move here as Peach is sliding, covering that inside, making sure that Rose can't get through, but Rose gets the power down much better through turn, I think it's turn 11. Yeah, it is turn 11. Now through turn 12. Again, Peach getting a little bit of a better exit there, and Action's lead is slowly slipping away or increasing, depending on if the gaps are right or wrong, but it doesn't look like Intox gained 6/10 on him, so I have no idea. But Peach looking once again.
Astro had another incident in Sector 3. Sorry about that. He dropped down into last place.
That's unfortunate for him. We've got Bacon Sushi and Atmosphere gaining a place because of it. Skinny Man's going to be looking for a move on Bash Dash, but Rosefest right on the back of Peach. So now that we've got DRS enabled, I think Peach is going to have Intox's DRS, so he'll be able to stay safe that way. But all this fighting action, 2.7 seconds up the road.
Itchy Soup going on the inside of Rose. Later brakes on the inside, also on the medium. So actually, no tire advantage there. They're on equal measures here.
And
Still
he dives down the inside.
Next corner. And I think
he's got the position. So that's going to take a lot of pressure off Peach now because these two are fighting. I think Rose is going to get it back pretty easily now with the DRS.
Yeah.
He's going to go right down the inside. I think he's going to be fully clear there before they even get to the zone. Yeah, and he does take the racing line there, so he's going to keep the position. So a good job from him. Now he's got to close that gap back up to Peach. Action has slipped almost 3 seconds away from Intox, just flying away with this as the clouds start to get a bit closer together. As Skinny Man still looking for a move on Bash Dash. Looks like he's got the pace as he's just pushing him through the chicane. And now we go on the run into turn 10 and 11. He's pretty close to him, and it looks like he's using more ERS as he's coming really close to his gearbox. He's going to go down the inside, but he lifts there. He doesn't want to do it as Bash Dash just cuts the corner and now returns the racing line. And now he's going to hold the inside for turn 11, but that was questionable defending. But to be fair, he put himself in that position anyways, so Bash Dash kind of using the dirty parts of the track there. You can kind of see the dust or debris, what have you, as Bash Dash runs wide again there.
Oh, yeah. Trash Man had lose a position there.
Looks like he's got the position for now, and then we go up the field here. It looks like Rosefest going for a move on Peach. Into turn 1, he's going to have the outside, but he's all the way through and clear. Peach did not have the ERS or the will to stick with it. Maybe he just wants to save ERS by getting the DRS on the back straight. Who knows? Itchy Soup going to be looking for a move in that scenario as well. And Skinny Man with DRS into turn 1, goes up the inside of Bash Dash, clips him a little bit on the left side of his wing, or on the right side of his wing, sorry, and Bash Dash cuts the corner there, but he was kind of pushed off the apex. Skinny Man lifts off there, not wanting to go on the inside down into turn 4, so Bash Dash breaks really early and just gets punted into the apex of turn 4, but he's able to keep it on the track. I can't imagine Skinny Man has much of a wing left at this point as he hits him yet again.
Damage, yeah,
and he's really treating it like it's... Oh, and the rain is already starting to fall.
Yeah.
And Bash almost lost it there. So the DRS still enabled. Skinny Man's going to open up the DRS, and he's going to try to go down the inside of Bash Dash and then run into the chicane. It looks like he's got him, but he is not leaving him any room Now he's onto the racing line, and I think he's got the position very easily here. So a good job from him after some questionable contact at best. We've got the Peach and Itchy Soup going wheel to wheel into turn 10 and now into turn 11. Peach has got the position, but Rosefest all over the back of Intox. Rosefest goes down the inside of Intox, but not quite able to make the move as the gap kind of closes itself. And Peach now sends it down the inside into turn 12, and it looks like he's got the position as Rose has got to go too wide and he can't get on the power. They both lose the rears a little bit. Rosefest still in the fight for it, but the Peach has got the inside as we go into turn 14. Oh, and Rosefest clips him a little bit.
Yeah, and everything we said about, you know, the mediums being the right call goes out the window because it's very, very early rain. Obviously very hard to predict. All we know is that, you know, that in 20 minutes there will be rain. We don't know when it'll start. We just know that, you know, in 20 minutes it will be there. So that's how still unpredictable the weather is, even though we know that it will rain.
Yeah, and Itchy Soup tried to fancy a move up the inside of Peach there after Rose took it and went off the track a little bit. Is he going to send it down the inside once again? No, he's going to brake nice and early into turn 3 to avoid any contact. Looks like we got Bash Dash and Trash Panda fighting now as Trash Panda gets past on the mediums. And yeah, Astro pits on Inters. Astro goes into the pit for Inters. So the hero call there, I think way too early in my experience, I would say. Yeah. But I think he feels he needs to try something from that far back in the grid. And Trash Panda spun, and Atmosphere hits him. We've got so much debris right there. That looked like pieces from 4 or 5 different wings. Trash Panda comes back on the track and goes through Bob Ross there. Luckily, ghosting was on, so no big incidents there. Looks like some people getting caught out in the wet conditions. Atmosphere probably picking up some wing damage. Same with Bash Dash. Of course, DRS is still enabled as the track, I guess, is still suited for it. Itchy Soup able to get past the Peach during all that.
Iced in on the inside of Bash Dash going into the chicane here. They're going to be side by side.
Huge lockup from Ice Tin.
Ooh, very lucky not to have a collision there. Bash Dash actually goes around the outside. That's a great move for him. I don't know if
I think Atmosphere has some double damage right there, missing both end plates. I think he slammed into whichever car, lost it in turn 3. Bob Ross in pursuit of Quirk 50, and the Peach falling back as Intox picks up a 5 second. All the leaders pit.
Top four is pitting.
And DRS is crucially still enabled. I could see it as he went into the pit. His DRS was still enabled. So are they all going super early?
Everyone is going in
super late, or do they just not feel comfortable enough here on these? We'll see who leaves the pits in first position, as it is going to be quite a cluster.
It's going to be crazy. Yeah.
As,
with all these
Intox gets out. No, sorry. The action does get out in front, but Intox retains second position. Itchy Soup getting past Rosefest, but the Peach now basically just a car length behind instead of almost a second as he was before. Atmosphere picks up a 5 second penalty for speeding in the pit lane as we get back onto the track, and it looks like the rain is here to stay for sure. Yeah, wow, that rain came really quickly from those clouds. I was not thinking it would be by lap 6, but it was, so not much advantage from the soft runners. They still had about 2 good laps in there, but Itchy Soup now, yeah, that gap cannot be right.
And remember Astro, we clowned on him a little bit for making the early move, but he had an undercut, undercut attempt now. We'll see where he leaves.
We've got Itchy Soup, Rosefest on the back of Itchy Soup trying to make the move. No DRS. Does he have DRS with the Inters? No, he doesn't. Okay, so DRS got disabled somewhere in there, and we missed it. So DRS is disabled, which is probably what told them to come into the pits. So Rosefest looking for the move on Itchy Soup, and Action just happy. As long as Rosefest, as long as he's got those cars behind in between him and Rosefest, he's probably pretty happy right now. And Rosefest really struggling to get past Intox there. Peach able to gain a bit of time on them there.
Iced the only one on slicks right now, and he's really struggling through these corners. Has to lift very high amount.
Maybe he's thinking he can make it through the rain period without going on to Inters. I feel like that's probably not the right decision. We've got Skinny Man and Bacon Sushi fighting here, but it looks like Bacon Sushi got a good enough exit out of the chicane to protect himself from the attack from Skinny Man from behind him, and yeah, it looks like he's going to be able to hold on to that position. Oh, and that's Bacon Sushi, lost it. He's all the way off the track through turn 10 there. He just lost it coming back onto the track, or rather trying to keep it through the high speed. Looks like he didn't lift enough. So just some time and some tire wear gain, but he's able to retain 10th position. Not sure what he's doing.
Now has to lose the position to his teammate.
Yeah, so maybe that's what he was waiting for. As we got Rosefest 5/10 out Itchy Soup. We'll see what he's able to do with that.
Battle for P12 is heating up here. Quirk, Bob Ross, and Astro all in contention here. Quick.
Oh,
Oh,
gets
Bob
spun!
Ross. And yep, that's the collision there.
That looks like Bob Ross spun him. That's, yeah. Looks like
Yeah.
he got really up the back of. Oh, and Itchy Soup and Bob Ross look like they're fighting. Itchy Soup able to retain the position, but it looks like Rosefest went for a dive as now we go down the back straight here. Or I guess it's the front, whatever you want to call it. Actually lost quite a bit of ground to Itchy Soup. I don't know if he'll be able to get that back on the straight, even with the slipstream. But he's going to be trying. We'll see if he sends one down the inside, but he looks like he's a bit too far back now as we go into the chicane. Looks like Itchy Soup's got control of his braking, but actually does run a little bit wide. Rosefest almost getting loose on those curbs. Able to turn in nice and easy. Itchy Soup, my man, taking the curbs in the wet. Rosefest opting not to, and it looks like he actually did lose some time to him because of that. Iced in into the pits now finally for Inters. And it looks like we've got some decent gaps here other than Rosefest and Itchy Soup. Looks like everybody's able to pull out. And the action is almost 5.5 seconds clear of Intox. So a pretty commanding lead as of now as Rosefest is catching him. And I think Itchy Soup is even catching Intox as well. Rosefest going off track there, having to go a bit wide, whether it was dirty air or just wasn't ready for the turn. We'll see. Oh, Rosefest almost loses it there. So Rosefest, I think what's happening is turns his wheel. He's turning his wheel a bit too much there. But I think what's really happening with these guys is something a lot of people don't think about is they downshift at the exact same cadence that they do in the dry, and you just can't do that in the wet. You're going to be losing the rears, and it looks like that's exactly what's happening because he's losing it at a very bizarre place. Atmosphere retires from the session. Looks like that was in the pits, but I'm not entirely sure. We have a safety car.
No, we have a safety
car's
car.
deploy.
I don't think that was in the pits.
Hopefully, then it was an actual crash.
That was going into the back straight, coming out of turn 6 or 7, I believe.
So let me
See him
ask
on the
you,
mini-map there.
Tact, if your action right now, you've got the 6-second gap, do you risk pitting for super, so you have the fresh inters if everybody else does? If you're the leader, it was on.
Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was on the track and he hit the wall and had a wheel gone. Yeah, so that was definitely not a manual retirement.
Well, so action's in a pretty difficult position here because basically either he pits for the fresh tires or he stays out for track position, and it's more than likely the people behind him will do the opposite of what he does. So he's got a pretty tough decision to make because if I was Intox and I see action stay out, I would pit for fresh inters and see what I can do. That being said, I don't know if it's the right call. It's only been a few laps. I would probably stay out personally, but the option is still there on the table, and we'll see what he ends up doing as we get closer to the pits here. But action's not going to be happy with that, losing basically a 6-second gap there to a safety car.
Well, he has 12% wear on his rears right now. I don't know if that's enough to warrant a pit stop because he will lose track position for sure. If he does, I think he can just stay out.
Yeah,
he knows it's going to be dry running at the end of the race as Bacon Sushi picks up a drive-through penalty for speeding under safety car.
Yeah, I think definitely the right call to stay out, but I can also see him wanting to pit if the people behind him pit. But yeah, right call to stay out for sure. Intox also stays out. It would be interesting if one of these people, I think if we had done a few more laps and the gaps were a bit more spread out, it might be worth it to try and see if you could make the time up on 3-lap fresher inters. But as of now, definitely the right call to stay out. And we're approaching the safety car here for Intox. And did we have a safety car in Australia?
In tier 3, yes, I believe.
Okay.
I believe we did.
So these guys are familiar with how to drive under the safety car. So we'll hopefully we don't see too much carnage.
Yeah, I mean those who struggle on wet conditions, they're gonna be happy with this because the longer this is out, the less they have to drive in the wet and race conditions. So they won't be complaining too much, except of course those who had a big gap behind them.
Yeah, absolutely though. They're gonna be happy to less rain they have to do, the better. And so Willie Z, I think he started 7th, right? If I'm not mistaken. Yeah, Willie Z and Trout not losing any positions. Rosefest down 2 positions. The Peach down 1. And Skinny Man is up 3. Bacon Sushi's up 3. Astro down 4. But all things considered for Astro, this is kind of the best case scenario to be able to get himself back closer to the pack because he lost it turn 2 and that he's been really far back down there the whole time. So, looks like we almost had a crash on the safety car there between Trout, Peach, and Rosefest, but looks like they've got it under control now. And this is going to be super interesting to see if the rain stops before the safety car goes in, and they have to choose if they want to take the pit stop and go slower for a few laps, but, you know, get the pit stop under safety car. I have no idea what the right call would be. I would assume just stay out, but it could give us some interesting opportunities for a hero call.
Yeah, a lot of these drivers are very close to each other in a safety car, especially between Itchy Soup
For
and Trout.
reference, everybody, you just have to. Yeah, they almost crashed right there. The only rule under safety car is that you must be within 10 car lengths of the car in front. Nowhere does it stipulate you must be tailgating. So
Yeah, and if you are more than 10 car lengths behind, then it gives you, I think, 30 seconds to catch up. So definitely you don't need to be up there after gearbox the whole time. Yeah, we have a literal train going to the last corner.
yeah, obviously that issue is going to be exacerbated by the rain, but still, there's plenty of oh my, oh, that was great avoiding from Trout, but almost a huge incident there on the pit straight. But yeah, basically what Action is doing to the safety car is exactly what you should be doing to the car in front of you until the restart happens, in which case everybody's going to bunch up and incidents do tend to happen there. But any other time, incidents are pretty ridiculous, so we want to make sure we're leaving the car in front of us space. It's the yeah, avoiding those incidents under safety car, because those ones are definitely the ones that hurt the most.
Yeah, we definitely still have some gaps at the rear end of the race, or at the end of the line here. Eiston is a minute behind the leader right now. Big gap between Syntax and Quirk as well, about 25 seconds. So we'll see if they can catch up this lap, or if either they catch up this lap and we have green flag conditions again, or another lap of safety car, or the race just starts without them. So they need to catch up as soon as they can.
Yeah, and again, I don't know if F1 2019 is coded like this, but in theory the raining conditions would actually get worse now that they've all been under safety car for a few laps.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that is the case in the game, but at least in real
I doubt
life,
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Seems like it would be a little bit, that would take some mastering of code, and clearly Codemasters does not have that, so hopefully the safety car is in this lap and we can get back into racing, because wet racing is the best racing.
Yeah, it looks like most people have joined the queue. Syntaxes and Iceland still need to
Bash
catch
Dash
up, but
picks
there's
up
a collision.
Oh, 5-second penalty with the skinny man. So, oh, and he almost hits him again. The Haas having to avoid, Quirk having to go off the track to avoid some questionable driving under the safety car here, gentlemen. Let's.
Yeah, and I think Bash Dash has actually made up a spot. Actually, no, I don't think he has.
No, it might have been that when he hit Skinny Man, Trash Panda went past him and then went back, but I did see the green arrow. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, okay, yeah. So the arrows. So
it looks like we're going to be doing another lap under the safety car, unless it's going to glitch like it often does. No, it's staying out.
Alright, I'm staying out. The pit entry.
Sometimes it'll, just literally go in at the pit entry, and Astro making up the position on Bacon Sushi, but letting him back past. So good on him. And we've got Ice Tin now looking like he's very close to closing up to everyone else. Syntax just approaching the back, so I think the safety car will be in this lap, hopefully. But as you said, the people who aren't strong in the wet conditions are going to be thrilled that we're doing another lap.
Yeah, and I think you can see the rain sort of. The clouds are slowly beginning to go back away. Some sun beginning to shine.
That's also another question I have that I'd be really curious, is if the rain is by laps or by time. I know it says it's by time, but if it's doing that based off laps.
It's not, well, I don't know, to be honest.
Like if it just presets, it's going to rain lap 6 to lap, let's say 14. So if you go into the safety car, you're just dragging it out. Obviously still less laps under racing conditions, but I just mean as far as when the rain would end, it would be the same time. I'd be very interested to see if that's the case, but very hard, probably impossible to test. So, oh, his Intox almost goes into the back of Action there. Missed his braking a little bit, or just wasn't expecting him to stop so abruptly, but looks like the incident is avoided there, so good on him. And Bash Dash missing an end plate, actually. He's in a really tough position, because if he pits, comes out in last position without a doubt. Safety car is going to be in this lap. Yeah.
Yep.
So everybody's speeding up a little bit, and then they're going to start slowing down. We'll see if Action knows what he's doing. When you're in the third sector, you want to make sure that you are slowing down the cars. You act as the pace car. So that silver car in front of you, you want to let drive off into the distance. And when it says prepare to resume racing, that just means the safety car is in the pits. That does not mean the leader has started going. And there's no overtaking until the leader crosses the first safety car line or the start-finish line, in which case the flags will go green. Looks like Action is slowing down a bit. I can't really tell. I don't know. Now it
Got a
looks like
bit of a
he's-
gap, but I don't think it's.
Yeah, so
Might
we'll
have
see.
some sort of rev
Yeah, no,
limiter.
he's very close, but I think the nature of the way
I
this
think-
final turn is, he's
Yeah, I
gonna
was
be
about to
okay.
say.
And it looks like, yeah, he's going to start going. Oh, almost loses it, but Intox not able to get any better of a start. Looks like Itchy Soup. Nope, none of them. As we are under green flag conditions, we are racing now. Trash Panda looking for a move on Bash Dash into turn 1. He's going to go to the outside. Bash Dash defending to the inside. Bash Dash not really able to defend much with that wing. As soon as they get through here, I think he's really going to struggle. But Trash Panda also goes super wide, leaving him plenty of space. So we'll go back up towards the leaders here. As Action is going to want to try to build that gap up as much as he had it before, but that's going to be quite difficult considering that these people are in a slipstream now with that long back straight. Itchy Soup looks like he's struggling with the rears. Frankly, they all look like they're struggling with the rears as Rosefest cuts the corner a little bit there. I think he might have picked up a warning, but I'm not entirely sure as Intox goes off the track there, so it doesn't look like he lifted enough, and that's going to hurt him because Itchy Soup is now gaining on him quite rapidly.
Yeah, everyone being a little bit cautious right now. Visibility is very, very low. Trying to keep it on the circuit as much as they can.
Yeah, as you said, everybody taking it nice and cautious. We will just have to see what happens. Peach, kind of actually, or sorry, not Peach. Trout actually kind of far off that front runner fight there, already fallen back a little bit. So, Peach is in a pretty good position right now, able to stick with the leaders. I think these top 5 are incredibly close in the wet conditions, it looked like, with the Action maybe having the measure of them as he's already able to pull out a 1.3 second gap.
Astro and Bacon side by side, going to the third sector.
Oh,
that's
and
the one at
Bacon
the Haas,
loses it.
completely off. Yeah.
Bacon loses it. Please don't come back onto the track. He doesn't. He waits for Ice Tin, and now he's gonna. Oh wow, that's a wide berth.
Ooh,
That's
okay, yeah,
looks like
hopefully
he's
that
able to
should've-
keep it out of the wall. Intox
Yeah,
actually
well-
able to claw back a bit more time on Action there, as Action now within 8/10 of him, and looks like Itchy Soup also able to close the gap on Intox, and Rosefest looking for a move here. He got a much better exit out of there, but I don't think he's going to go for anything. I think he's going to wait till the back straight, but he does kind of position his car on the inside maybe to psych him out. Itchy Soup takes a really shallow line. That's going to allow Rosefest to get the power down much more if he can capitalize on it. It looks like he does as Itchy Soup once again takes a very shallow line. Rosefest able to kind of take the wider line there, a pseudo switchback, if you will, and is now going to try to get the power down, but Itchy Soup was brave. I don't even think he lifted at all. None of them do, and they run super wide there, but Itchy Soup definitely getting a much better exit there, and he's going to be looking for a move on Intox, as Action is now 2 seconds ahead of Intox, so having a much better first sector than Intox, gaining almost 1.1 seconds there. Intox almost loses it.
Yeah, struggling with the rear downforce right now. He needs to keep a little bit smoother through the apex of the corners. Astra and Bob Ross switching positions again.
Oh, and we've got
Still some,
Rosefest is so close to Itchy Soup. I don't know if he's going to go for the move, though. Yeah, wow. Intox is really, really struggling there. Oh, Bob Ross almost loses it with the downshift, and that has brought the Peach right in. We've got these guys are like separated, 4 drivers separated by less than a second, it looks like. This is ridiculous. As Rosefest able to get past Itchy Soup there, but then that kind of forces Peach off wide a little bit, and we'll see if Rose can close the gap up to Intox, or if Itchy... Oh, Peach kind of forgets where to brake there, goes almost into the pit lane. Looks like he keeps... Oh, the Madman! Sends it down the inside, and that's going to... that's a little bit of contact. Not a very clean move, but I guess that was a send... Oh, and Rosefest going to be looking for a move on Intox.
Yeah, they're going to start to send it up on the inside into turn 1. Does enough space happen? Yeah. Oh, around the outside. Much better traction against Intox, but he has a bad run through turn 3. And Rosefest, they're still side by side. Rosefest has the inside for the next corner. I think that'll be a job done for him. As he tries to claw back in 3 seconds he has to the leader now.
Rosefest, crucially, though, has been struggling with this corner right here as he comes through it. It looks like the other guys are getting a much better line through there, but we'll see what happens. Looks like he's got it down there running a bit wide, but yeah, so as you said, now it looks like he's going to be on for him to claw back all that time to the leader.
Yeah, we'll keep an eye on the gap between first and second. We'll see. If
Oh, and
Rosefest-
Intox lost it. Intox lost it through that corner just a little bit, or actually almost completely lost it, but was able to save it and almost lost the position to Itchy Soup, who was just alongside him, but Intox luckily had the inside and was able to defend that position for him. Rosefest already pulled a 1.4-second gap on them. The Peach sent it all the way around the outside, and it from a different, like, zip code over there. Really off the track and losing quite a bit of time doing that, but it was a bold move if it would have worked, if he would have found some Max Verstappen traction around the outside, but unfortunately for him, he didn't. And Intox really struggling, as you said, looks like with either the rear downforce or just maybe his tires are overheating, I'm not quite sure, but Itchy Soup not quite able to capitalize yet as Intox is getting the exits where they matter, and the Peach falling back quite a bit after that bold move he tried to make. Again, Itchy Soup kind of going deep into the corners here, and he gains for a little bit of time, but then Intox gets the power down much better and able to retain the position.
And Rosefest actually matching the time that the action is doing. And we have a VSC. Who's that for? I don't see any yellow
Yeah,
flags. I don't see any cars stopped.
I don't see anything either.
Interesting. We have Bacon Sushi. Oh, I think it was for Bacon Sushi. He's missing almost an entire front wing at the very, very back. Yeah, he's got no front wing at the moment. He must have hit the wall somewhere, triggering that VSC. We'll see how these gaps change.
Yeah. Looks like Action actually gaining some time under the VSC. Whether he knows how to cheese it or not, he's gained almost like... Oh, and we're under Racing Editions. And it looks like as of now, the Action gained like, what, 7/6 there under the VSC. And Ice Tin gets past Syntax there. There was a brief yellow flag there.
Yeah, Syntax went really, really wide and had to see the position. Otherwise, he would have had a very unsafe release.
And so...
unsafe rejoin.
Itchy Soup looking like he really did not get the VSC restart right, because Peach is now within 0.6 of him, and he lost almost a second to Intox. Crucially, though, it is still raining, so we're getting into the territory of where maybe it is going to be soft for the last stint, because it's going to be, it looks like at least 3 or 4 more laps, because you want, you know, 2 or 3 laps after the rain stops to get onto those soft tires, but we'll see how quick it dries up. Maybe it dries up ridiculously quick, I have no idea, but most tracks 2 to 3 laps, so it might be in the territory of wanting to pit onto those softs for your final stint rather than the mediums and go soft, inter soft. As Intox again loses the rear, and Itchy Soup's going to try to send it down the inside. They make a little bit of contact there. Itchy gets his wing chopped off a little bit. Oh, on the power, riding the curb really aggressively there, but he's able to get his car back under control as we go down the back straight now. Looks like he once again got a much better exit. He's not looking into the slipstream. This madman doesn't even care. He's going on the back of Intox now. Looks like he's going to swap to the inside here. We'll see if either of them can get it right or if both of them get it wrong under braking. As Intox goes super late on the brakes, turns in, hits Itchy Soup there a little bit, who has to oversteer correct right into him. Sorry for the terrible camera angle. I accidentally switched to Peach behind them. That's going to be a young my bad. Figured Itchy would be far ahead by then, as now he's going to go for another move down the inside here. The question is, how much will they lift? Oh, Intox is a braver man than I am. He barely lifted there and just sent it through there, not caring that Itchy was there, and Itchy backed off.
So Willie Z and Trout battling here, going to the long right
boy.
hander. Very, very close between those two cars. Trout trying to go there on the inside.
Oh, so close. Looks like Willie went off the track there, and he was able to keep the position. Or, sorry. Yeah, wait, was it?
Willie's went a little bit wide, and had to see Trout ahead of him go by.
So let me ask you this. Oh, Intox loses it again, and that looks like that's going to be Itchy Soup up into the position. The Peach might even be able to get it, but the Peach looks a little bit far off as now Intox has got the nice slipstream. He might even go for a dive down into turn 1. He does. He swerves to the inside, but he goes, okay, he does go pretty cautious. Itchy goes super late on the brakes, though, and I think that's going to punish him in the second ladder. Oh, as Intox goes straight into the back of him. Some pretty heavy contact there, but it looks like none of them spun or lost any, at least no aesthetic pieces came off the front.
Gord, Trout has just pitted for fresh, soft tires. And I don't know if that's because he thinks the rain is going to end.
Crash and Willie just pitted for fresh inters.
Yeah, they're pitting for fresh inters. They had a lot of wears, about 45% right now. Anyone who has those old inters, they're at about 45 to 50%. Wear.
Yeah. Oh, the Peach down the inside of Intox here into the chicane. We'll see if he's able to keep that. And I assume that yellow flag is for whoever went on to soft Trout spinning.
You're absolutely right.
Yeah. That's unfortunate. Is Intox able to keep the position on Peach? And yeah, I don't think you can justify pitting again. I don't know what Jeff's telling them. Certainly not ready for the softs. I think you just got to suck it up on these inters and get ready to go onto the softs for your final stint.
I think so too. I think, the wear is going to be bad, but they're not going to make up a pit stop worth of time if they pit for fresh inters right now before it stops raining.
Yeah, absolutely not. As the rain... Looks like we've got some gaps in the clouds, so hopefully the rain stops pretty soon for them. But, of course, the forecast is overcast after that, so the clouds aren't going to give us much. But the rain... Oh, that's Skinny Man. Bash Dash down the inside of Skinny Man. Really managing well with that wing damage, as you can see there on his right side end plate. Oh, the double move. Both Ferraris getting past Skinny Man in 2 corners. So the Ferrari's having a bit of a team battle now as Astro's all over the back of Bash Dash, and they've got a 10-second gap in front of them. So it seems like they're fighting and slowing him down a little bit here, as Astro looks like he got the better exit of the 2. No DRS to help him, and the rain has stopped, at least it looks to me. And so Bash Dash going to be covering that outside Astro for... I don't know what that was, but he... oh, he's out of ERS. That's what it was. Skinny Man goes into the pits. Let's see what he pits for. Maybe he saw the rain stopping and thought he saw an opportunity. If he goes on to inters, that's going to be a huge bummer. And it looks like that is what he's going on to. New fresh inters.
That is not the play, my friend. He'll be back in the pits in, I think, a lap or 2.
And so we've got Trout, with some huge wing damage there as well, is going to have to pit again, just to put a little bit of salt on that wound. And the Peach falling back 1.2. Okay, everybody, that is our resident Tier 2 commentator who just Steam messaged me, rub mayonnaise on my belly. And so... yes, I do see that, Kia, that my Steam messages are enabled. And we've got Intox, who's going to be looking for a move on Itchy. So let me ask you, Tech, do you think the play is... would you wait for DRS enabled if you were in this group of Itchy, Intox, and Peach, or would you go for that hero call, maybe go a lap or 2 early and see if you can get the undercut and clear these 2 cars?
I would just listen to Jeff, because Jeff is never wrong. Praise Jeff in the chat, please, as, he's always giving me the best strategy possible.
For
especially
sure.
when it comes to this.
He is so talented. The leader's pit.
Point.
Action and Rosefest pit, so I assume Itchy and Intox stays out, though.
Intox stays
and
out.
Peach stays
we'll
out. DRS is enabled. Oh, that one hurts. That one's got a sting.
And actually, Action has put into mediums.
Oh, boy.
I think he might have made that mistake because... I don't know. Maybe he doesn't think this also lost 8 laps.
But again, the Peach goes to... Oh! Spins Intox there, or actually Intox is able to save it, but Peach is going to take the position and lead the race for maybe 1 lap here. The question is the changeover period is going to be a lot sooner for softs than it is for mediums. That being said, it looks like DRS was enabled anyway, so both should be fine.
Went very wide.
Yeah, they're going to be really struggling. It was probably pretty brutal last lap, and now it's got to be very bad on these inters.
Now I wonder if, since this is a 50% race, does the track dry twice as fast than
yes, it does.
Than a 100% race?
Or at least it dries twice as fast as it does in the 25%. So I would assume it does twice. But the Peach picks up a 3-second penalty for missing his braking zone and cutting the chicane there. The Action almost going to be a pit stop ahead of him now, actually. You can see him off in the distance. He's making up crazy amounts of time there on them. So, yeah, definitely the right call to pit. But Rosefest on those soft tires is going to be looking for a move. Is the safety car going to save him from this impending doom of Rosefest right behind him? Doesn't look like it. Itchy Soup getting past Bash Dash. Bash Dash still on those inters. The Skinny Man has left the session.
He's
After-
retired in the pits, actually.
Okay. So that's going to be the Sector 3 flag, I guess. And Action coming up to now the traffic of what was second and third position. He's going to get
Oh.
past Intox on
That's
the
easiest
inside there.
overtake he's gonna have all
Oh,
day.
and the Peach. Oh, both of them really losing it. Hopefully they don't pick up a corner cutting penalty for that, and they're both going to go into the pits, hopefully for softs as well. As now, I think that was the Peach that would have given Action the DRS there, so that's going to protect him
Yep.
from Rosefest for at least one straight here, as Rosefest is basically fully out of energy. They both are 13 and 11% respectively, so they're both using as much energy as possible here, as Rosefest looking for the move, but I think he's going to play it safe and try to get it down the back straight. If I were him, you know you've got the faster tires, I would take a few laps and eat the DRS, charge my fuel, or my ERS, sorry, and then build a gap, because if you keep the Action inside your DRS and your tires do fall off, that's going to be a mistake. But looks like he is going for it. He's got it in mode 3 here, and I don't think Action's going to be able to fight that no matter how hard he tries, as Rose is going to be 3 or 4 car lengths ahead. Yeah, goes much later on the brakes too. So now it's just a matter of if Rose's tires fall off, and if they do, can Action capitalize on it. Itchy Soup now out on the mediums, 11 seconds off Action. It seems like it should be a lot more than that, because he was in front of him after the pit stop, but I guess France has a ridiculously fast pit. I don't know. That might be the case.
Yeah, this is definitely a 2-horse race now in terms of the lead. Rosefest, can he make it back-to-back wins in Tier 3? He's got the tires, he's got the pace to do it. Action going for that second podium in a row, but he's gonna go and want to get P1. A little quick update on penalties for you. No one in the top 3. Peach has a 3-second time penalty. Next one who has a penalty is, well, Willie Z will have an equivalent of a drive-through penalty coming for him. That's it actually in the top 10. No one else has any penalties.
Good on him.
And actually that's it. So just Peach right now with 3 seconds.
Got a pretty nice onboard here, as the Action actually very able to stay with Rosefest. So it must be said, at least the way it's looking right now, Action got the strategy right at the beginning going on the softs, but then really bungled it on the end of it, because if he's able to stay on him with mediums, imagine where this guy would be on the soft tires.
Yeah, 100%. I think a lot of people are on the mediums right now, and for absolutely no reason. Some of them actually, I think Quirk went onto the mediums he used at the beginning of the race, which is quite interesting.
That is incredibly interesting and a questionable choice. I suppose maybe he used the softer allocation.
Yeah.
That's all I could imagine. So he only had the one set, but I don't really know why you would do that. But to each their own, I suppose. And Astro, actually, sorry, Tech, I guess we missed it. Astro got past Intox, so staying out for that lap really hurt Intox, Itchy, and Peach, because Astro was like 10 seconds behind them, and now he's only 5 seconds, and he's in front of Intox.
Astro's had a really good drive. He's had to recover significant after his lap 1 incident.
Absolutely. I would say he's my driver of the day for now.
Yeah, I would agree.
The Action, crucially for him, still within the DRS. It is very possible, I guess, that, well, not very, it's possible Rose's tires will fall off, but just the fact that he got, basically he has no tire overheating initially because the track is still a bit wet. So it's kind of like a free lap of tire wear, or at least just a lap that's significantly easier, as the Action is out of the DRS of Rose. And so he's going to really struggle to stay with him, I think, here, unless Rose's tires fall off in the last few laps. But Rose is pushing, so we'll see. It is possible. But again, yeah, I think the softs were definitely the right call there. Action making up 3/10, though, through the chicane. So still pretty close behind him again now.
Yeah, Rose needs to push now. Right now is, these next 3 or 4 laps are the only period of time where his tires will be faster. He needs to, most importantly, pull away from the DRS zone behind him. Because if the Action has DRS, he doesn't even need to push that much in order to stay with him.
And it looks like Rose is, I don't want to say crumbling under the pressure, but he's making a lot of mistakes for having the tires with better grip. I'm watching Action here, and Action is, it must be said, taking the corners much better whilst on the medium tires, and now he's got the DRS.
Yeah, still 6 tenths separate the front of the pack. Got Eiston and Trash Bandit fighting for P10 behind Bash Dash.
And the Action is 3 tenths away
Eiston,
now.
sorry, Eiston, huge DRS advantage there. Locks up his front left, but he gets the move done up into the points now. We'll see if Trash Panda makes it 2 in a row. Yeah, he has a much better drive. Mode 5 on the straight. Bash Dash and Trash Panda going side by side, has to lift the Ferrari. And that's, 2 spots lost in the span of 2 corners almost.
And it looks like Action might be going for a move on Rosefest, who's lagging quite substantially there. Rosefest was in front of him, like actually behind Action, and now he's in front of him, so Action might not be too happy about that, but looks like he's definitely got the pace to win this race, and if he had gone on the softs, I think he would be taking off right now, so not to beat a dead horse, but I think the softs were definitely the right call.
Yeah, Action's last lap was 4 tenths quicker, so definitely catching up to him in some areas of the track. As Trash Pan is actually into the wall, I don't think he has damage, but coming out of the last corner, I know that was an incident between him and the Ferrari, but he lost about 7 seconds there. Not sure what happened. As moving back up the field. Eiston's got up to Quirk. Quirk is his name, who goes very, very wide. Can Eiston make it happen before even the Bash Dash goes for a huge dive there.
Willie Z actually, or sorry, yeah, it was, or Eiston, yeah. Was it? I thought, okay, I was confused at who was who. That's my bad. Yeah, no, that was a it was a bold overtaking opportunity there. And as you said, Quill looks like he's lifting. Yeah, he was. He's, what is happening here? Quirk, Quirk having half his foot on the throttle with the brakes applied. That was that's not the optimal way to drive in a straight line, ladies and gentlemen.
Bash Dash very interpretive of that chicane, goes very, very wide. I think he picked up a penalty from that actually, Bash Dash. He's got 3 seconds now. As Action has actually lost a few, I think about a second.
Quite a bit, yeah.
Now it's going to be very, very challenging for him. It's an uphill battle trying to catch up to Rosefest without DRS on the slower tires. As Bash Dash goes down the inside into the last corner, Eiston gives him room. And that's into P9 for Bash Dash. So trading spots, these guys the last 2 laps. Bash Dash, by the way, I'm fairly sure he plays with the keyboard.
Does he really?
You can tell by his wheel movements.
Oh yeah.
Very
well, and his throttle is incredibly binary, of full on the gas or full on the brake. Interesting. Well, hats off to you, sir. That is impressive.
Yeah, definitely very, very challenging to do that on a keyboard.
And the Action.
He's under pressure from Eiston right now. He's got to have DRS mode 2. He's running out of energy here, but this is very long straight, very powerful DRS, and yeah, gets the move done. Oh, actually no, brakes a little bit earlier. Bash Dash keeps that position. As Bob Ross got up to Intox ahead, goes a little wide into penultimate corner. We'll have DRS though. Goes into neutral. That's going to cost him a few tenths.
I definitely felt that one on a spiritual level. The Action back within DRS range of Rosefest. So either Rose's tires are falling off or he just bungled it in the corner, and I favor the latter because that is ridiculous time gain in a very short amount of time.
Yep.
Back to 6 tenths now, keeping him at arm's length, but I think Action's got this. If he just stays calm, I think he can get him on the back straight on the last or penultimate lap and then keep that gap, but who knows? We'll see what happens.
Yeah. About a lap and a half to go, or 2.5 laps to go here. And both of them, yeah, really, really milking their ERS. ERS. I need some water. BRB.
Yeah, and so, the Action. I don't know why that scared me, but the gear shift sound kind of surprised me. 6/10 off with DRS, closing incredibly rapidly. I think he's going to have him on the back straight if he can keep it together. Rosefest at 10% energy. Action's only got 8 extra percent, but for having the DRS, that's I'm not entirely sure why they're both not in none right now.
Yep.
These madmen are running it in mode 2 here and are going to possibly run out on the straight. But we'll see. Action having a much better run through 3 and 4, and now through 5 looks like they're a little bit even, but Rosefest goes out a bit wide. Action follows suit, but Action able to get the power down much better there as Rosefest kind of goes out wide, but the soft tires allow him to keep it. Now with DRS, now he puts it into mode 0, but he is gaining, and I think if he
very smart for him.
if he can
He
keep
does not
this
want to
gap,
pass him here.
yeah.
Because,
Oh!
almost rear-ends him, but he doesn't want to pass him here because there's one more lap to go. He wants that DRS for the last lap because
Yeah.
that's
Absolutely.
a huge advantage.
You want Rose to use as much energy as possible while you use as little, and you want to have that giant disparagement to just carry you through the third sector here. And as you said, no penalties, so whatever happens on track stands at the moment. So we'll see. Oh, Rose with a bit of a lockup there is going to allow Action to get that much closer. The pressure is definitely on for Rose and for Action respectively. I just have to say, if Action went on those soft tires, I think he would be 5 seconds ahead by now. This guy absolutely flying here today as Rose goes a bit deep into that corner, and once again Action kind of follows him through there, but he's able to get it back on the second phase of that apex. Normally you want to be riding that corner a little bit closer, but now with the DRS he could probably even pass him here, but he is using his energy, and we see Rosefest going into mode 4, not conserving it. I think he's really going to struggle here on the back straight, and I think he's just a sitting duck for Action here. If Action can keep it on the track, Action's got 40% to Rose's 11%. This is going to be really close, but I think Action's got him here. This is going to be well, the move to win the race here on the penultimate lap as we go down the back stretch.
ERS, once you get below 10, it starts to be a weaker deployment. Needs to get a good entrance to the straight. And it's mode 3 onto the straight, mode 4 now for both these drivers. Is it enough? Is Action close enough with DRS? I don't know. He's not.
Yeah, he's not.
He's
Oh,
not
he sends it!
dive.
He sends it down the inside, and Rose gonna have to cut the corner, Danny Rick style, but Action with the traction down the outside is gonna be able to make the move stick.
And Rosefest actually picks up the slipstream again.
He's gonna be trying to fight it back down into turn 11 or turn 10 here. Sorry. Oh, but it looks like Action's gonna be able to edge him out there.
What a dive from Action! Rosefest left him the space, and that might be it. That might be the move. That moves them the race here.
I would have never made that move, and I would have never won that race. That was an incredible dive from him. Absolutely had the car under control, but really psyched out Rose there, who almost cut the track like, like Daniel Ricciardo did. So, turns the wheel a bit too much there, and almost loses the car under acceleration, but I think that's it.
Comes across the line. He's going to be screaming with pleasure as he comes across the line, wins round 2 of Tier 3 in France.
And Itchy Soup is going to,
Yeah, in P3, he had a rough time in Australia. He's going to round up the podium. Peach with a 3-second time penalty. We'll see if, I don't think he's got a bigger gap behind him, so he's going to be coming home in P4 unless he has an unserved time penalty, which I don't think he does. Yep, he does not, so Astro staying behind the Peach here in P5. In talks, by the way, Astro, fantastic drive from him. He's going to be my driver of the day, I think, because he's a very, very great recovery drive.
Yeah, he was in 17th for quite a while there, made the call into Inters, and then the safety car brought him back into it, and he got all those positions back, so great job from him.
And again, you can really see the difference here between the top of Tier 3 and the middle to the bottom, as 28 seconds separate P8 and P7, as well as a huge gap between 13 and 14, 14 and 15. Willie Z though, he will be serving that. I believe it's a 25-second penalty for not starting the same tires you qualified on. So I think he's going to be finishing outside the points. Quirk and Ison across the line. Ison, due to the Quirk's penalty, which he had 6 seconds of, passes him for P11, and last to cross the line is Trout. That was a good one. That was a really
That
exciting
was
one.
Absolutely.
Obviously unfortunate with the technical issues we had at the beginning, but the race made up for it.
Yeah.
And was action is in the I believe in the not in the Renault, the Alfa Romeo. So
And this is the first F1 podium with twins on it, guys. It's exciting. These two brothers made it up, you know. I mean, just think of the chances of two brothers in two different cars fighting on the last lap on two different tires. Magical.
yeah,
Give it up for these twins. Yay!
amazing.
Yeah, that was honestly one of the most exciting races I've watched in a long time. The wet really, really mixed that up and made the strategy incredibly interesting. I'll make sure I go through the penalties here through the race director. But honestly, great job to everybody. I think looks like we only have like 6 or 7 time penalties, and for France,
Yeah.
that's very impressive. So
That is impressive for France. Yeah, definitely hard to stay on the track. Hard not to get penalties
Yeah.
there.
So good job, everybody. I'm gonna back out and take us to the interview room.
Yep.
And
I'm
let's-
going to bring in our race winner if he's still in a voice chat, which he is. We'll bring in the action. Congratulations! Huge move on the last lap.
Yeah, thank you.
Let me.
Uh,
I just have to ask, why did you go onto the medium tires?
Oh, that was just a total mishap. Me and Jeff got into a little spat and forgot to set it to soft on the left.
Well, yeah, it looked like you 100%. I mean, you were sticking with him while on those mediums, so you clearly had the pace. But I know, speaking for myself and Tech, we definitely thought you had him on the back straight, and it looked like you got a bit of a poor exit there, but then made up for it with like the dive of the century. But you had control of your car. Were you? I know the lap before you were saving a bit there, but were you expecting to make that move there, or did you think maybe it was gone?
Yeah, I was just saving everything for that last straight on the last lap. I knew that was my one chance, and unfortunately, like you said, bad exit, but I was able to kind of dive in there and
yeah,
Yeah.
well, you know, that was the moment you went for that inside. I thought for sure you're gonna take him out, but yeah, he left you space. You know, you kept it on the track. Really good battle for you guys. Were you planning on, you know, because you had a moment where you could have overtaken him on the penultimate lap, but you decided to put it in mode 0. I guess you were just saving your ERS, saving your track position for the last lap. You know, was a little strategy there, right?
yeah, I was just kind of saving everything for the last bit there. I knew he was on soft, so I didn't know if his traction was starting to wear out. I didn't want to kind of go too early on that.
All right, well, yeah, congrats. Well, and yeah, you're in the Renault. We're
yeah,
gonna-
yeah, another mishap with Jeff earlier.
It happens to the best of us. You know, we all tend to, yeah, just drive for a different team from time to time. So, congrats.
Yeah.
Enjoy your victory. We'll see you next week.
Thanks, guys.
In,
And Kia says,
Austria?
Smelly Melly.
Okay. We'll bring in.
I say Astro. Let's bring
runner-up.
in Astro. Oh, okay,
All right, we'll
yeah,
bring
yeah, yeah.
we'll bring in our runner-up first, and then we'll bring in Astro.
Yep.
So, Rosefest, congrats on your P2. I'm sure you're not too thrilled about it though.
Oh no, it's great. I mean, that was a very exciting race, and the action put the pressure during the whole race. It was crazy. So, good on him. And no, I'm still very happy with that P2.
So
Yeah, I mean,
it looked to me like you were really struggling with managing your ERS while he had that DRS. Did you think he was going to overtake you on that penultimate lap, or were you expecting for him to do what he did?
I was expecting him to be recharging because he was in DRS range all the time, and I was trying to pull away from DRS to break that from him for his last lap, but that didn't really work. But yeah, that was difficult. I was always very low on ERS, trying to recover wherever I could.
yeah. Did you expect that late dive into the chicane? Because that came out of nowhere for us. I'm sure you were surprised by it too.
Yeah, it came out of nowhere. I looked back just a second before hitting my braking point, and I thought he was pretty far, so I started going in, and I saw the red arrow. I was like, no, I'm not going to compromise this race for one dive. I felt like I could probably defend out of the second corner in that chicane, and no, he just got such a better runoff, and he was out in the distance. But that was still very, very fun.
Yeah. Well, congrats. You know, first and second in your first 2 races. Good start for you, and yeah,
Yeah.
expecting more from you as well.
Cool, cool.
Awesome. Cheers. All
Alright.
right. And our last radio commentary will be with Astro. Astro, hello. Congrats on your driver of the day today. Tell us what happened in the first lap and how you recovered.
Oh man, I'm like still stressed. You know, so I was gonna try and put up some decent times and just save that last soft lap for like the last possible second in qual.